So yes, ENS Gallery is one of the oldest African American galleries in the country. And they actually saw me at a show in New Orleans showing some of my quilts there. They were in the same show that I was in. And Kathy and Walter Shannon became extremely interested in my work and what I was doing. And they initially asked me to create a quilt for them. And after that, they asked if they could start to carry my work. And that has been about 10 years ago. So they've been carrying my work and promoting me for a long time. They've been intricate in helping me build my art career. And so every year they do the Harlem Fine Arts Show, which has been around for about 10 to 15 years in New York City. It's usually during Black History Month, February 21st to the 23rd this year. And it's a wonderful show. It's African American artists from all over the country and galleries showing works by different artists that are sometimes from all over the world. So it is always a treat to be a part of that show and to participate and to show some of my quilts there. I feel I'm one of the few fiber artists that is at the show, so it's very much an honor for me. So I'm looking forward to it.
Tell us about Sicily.
Yes, so Sicily was a 2 year project that I did during COVID. And the publisher, HarperCollins, actually saw my work on Instagram and sent me a note through Instagram. I thought it was a joke at first. And once I reached out and I spoke with her, she asked if I could be the illustrator for the Cicely Tyson book that they had just bought the rights to. And I was floored. They sent me the beautiful words written by Renee Watson, who is a New York Times bestseller. And I fell in love with the words, and she gave me a little time to think about it. And I knew it was a big undertaking because I'd never done anything like that before, but I knew it was something that I wanted to do. So I'm very proud of the book and the way it turned out, and so excited that I got to talk about an icon in my own way and pay respect to her in my own way.
I bet she was pleased.
Yes, yes, yes. So, um, the book is nominated for an NAACP Image Award. We are over the moon about that. And just ecstatic that it's being so well received. So, on the cover are some of her most iconic outfits that she wore over time. The larger image of her is, if you Google her, you will see that this is an image of her Emmy dress when she won 2 Emmys. And so I used stitching, I used painting, I used embellishments to create each one of these, you could say, storyboards for them to produce. They really asked me to continue to do what I do as a fiber artist. So when you look at the book, you're actually, to a certain extent, looking at miniature quilts that I created. So it was, again, 2 years, and it was such a joy to work on it. So here's where I started when I started out with Cicely, and they, wanted to see sketches of my ideas. So I started here. I sent in initially about 50 sketches, and they would come back and say, we want you to turn these 10 into artwork, these 12 into artwork, things like that. So then this is what I handed in for the book.
It's extraordinary.
So,
May I ask what mediums we have represented here?
yes, so we really have paint, a little pen and ink, and quilting. And then they sent this back to me for color correction. And they
How'd that sit with you?
I had an art director and we got on the phone together and we went over it and yeah, so it went, I think it went well. And the biggest thing was making sure that she was a half inch over so she wouldn't fall into the center of the page.
So that kind of critique is really helpful, actually good.
Yes,
You might welcome.
yes. And then what I've decided to do was take some of them, this is my first one, and turn them into larger quilts. And the reason I chose this one for my first one is because this is where she became inspired. This is when she knew, when she was singing in the church, that she wanted to be in that entertainment world. And she was really young, but she already knew. And even though she hadn't figured out what yet, she knew something was there. So I love that about the book and her story, and we can discover who we want to be and what we love and things we feel at all ages. And so that is why I chose this piece first to blow up and turn into a quilt.
Well, it's blowing up.
So when I was growing up, we didn't have a lot of art, but I had an art teacher that inspired me. And back then in class, we were just creating, simple watercolors or something simple with acrylics or things like that. But it was a challenge for me because it wasn't really something that I was exposed to. And as I grew older, I wanted to know more about art and African American art. I wanted to know everything. So of course, I looked at Picasso, Degas, Renoir. I looked at them, but I also looked at Elizabeth Catlett, Charles Bibbs, Faith Ringhold. These people are icons to me. And I just knew that I had a story to tell, and I needed to figure out how I was going to tell it in my own way and what my medium was going to be. So my car broke down. I asked my friend to give me a ride, and she did, but she had to stop at her aunt's house, and her aunt was a long arm quilter. And that was my aha moment when I walked into her studio. And that's when I knew that quilts were going to be how I was going to express what I wanted to say. So for me, it's a continuation. I'm just a small piece in a big puzzle of trying to tell our story.